This is the most important and crucial period of your lives, for what you do now and what you decide now at this age may well determine which way your life shall go. And the question is whether you have a proper, a solid, and a sound blueprint. And I want to suggest some of the things that should be in your life's blueprint. Number one, in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth. And always feel that your life has ultimate.
Hello, thank you for tapping in. This is Brian HRap B. Williams. This is the End of the Bench Media. And as I do every week, I want to thank my parents, Dolores and John. Without Dolores and John, there's no me. Without me, you'd be doing something else with your valuable time. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want you to hit that like, share, tell a friend to tap in. It is important that you do so. Today, we're going to talk about community building. We're going to talk about the road to unity, and unity will lead to a better community. I say this all the time, and I really mean it every time I say it, but especially mean it today. This is truly, truly, truly an inflection point. And if you don't know what an inflection point is, and for those who use different terminology, this is when the rubber meets the road. We're at the fork in the road. This is time to wake up and realize what's going on in these United States of America. I have zero party affiliation: Democrat, Republican, Independent, Green Party, family, whatever what it is. I am part of my community, and what's best for my community, that's what I will roll with. A lot of people assume certain things about certain people, and they say because you speak on certain topics, you are affiliated with something. No, I'm only affiliated with the Black community. And that's the community I was born into. That's the community I am most proud of. And that's where my concerns lie. But when you look at what happened over the last 24 hours with this government shutdown, and then we're on the brink of what people would have deemed at that point success. And then they go and they fold for a temporary fix. You have an incompetent person at the head of the snake. You have people who are wicked and evil who are behind him, literally whispering in his ear, telling them what to do. And you have him over a barrel. You have people booing him at a football stadium. You have people out of work who are going to work and not getting paid. And all of a sudden, you compromise. This lets you know that this is basically, literally, as the late, great Malcolm X once said, success isn't a 9-inch knife in my back and pulling it out 6 inches. It's not success. Success is pulling it out of my back, healing the wound, and moving forward. That's success. What we have is not considered, or should be considered, success. The reason it shouldn't be considered success is because the knife is still in our back. And we're gonna hold off to the end of the year. What they're doing is appeasing the people at Walmart, appeasing the people at Amazon, appeasing the people at Target, appeasing people who are looking to have people purchase things from them for the rest of the year. So I ask my people and all people worldwide to not buy a darn thing that you don't need. I mean, not one single solitary thing that you don't need. If it is imperishable, if it is a part of your, if it's part of your recommended diet, if it is not going to help you live until this thing is settled, do not purchase it. Christmas should be over. Thanksgiving dinner should be over. The Thanksgiving situation should be over. Everybody should just, if you want to have people over your house, have everyone bring a dish. We sit there with our friends and family members. You can bring beverages. You can bring adult beverages. Just purchase that and act as if it's a birthday party. We're not celebrating anything because we've just been defeated by the quote unquote party that is for the people, about the people, and and upholding the people. And they just sold us out. And you have people like Chuck Schumer who voted against this, but he folded 6 months ago. You have people like the Dick Durbin, the senator here in the great state of Illinois. He folded, and 5 other people folded. How is it that you have people on the run? It is literally like if Dr. King and that crew in Montgomery, Alabama, with their bus boycott, it was 360. It was more than 365 days. What about 340th day? They just start catching the bus. That's what just happened. So what we have to do, Black people and people in general, I'm speaking, I always, as I state, I always speak to my people, but everything that benefits my people benefits the entire world. And with that being said, what we have to do is stand tall on what we're doing. No Christmas gifts this year. And guess what? Your children don't really, you like giving your children gifts more than they love receiving the gifts. I'm assuming that you're a great parent 365 days a year. That 364th day is not going to make or break your child. You can treat these holidays like birthdays. Hey, you get something on your birthday and make sure you celebrate the entire hell out of that person's birthday or that child's birthday. That's what we need to start doing. Make birthdays a family day where we're inviting friends and families to celebrate our young people and old people, throughout everybody in the entire family. Let's make that the celebration instead of these created holidays that create stigmas. And this is about family. No, it's not. It's about you going into Walmart, you going into Target, you going into Macy's, you going into Gimbels, you going into Bloomingdale's, you going on Amazon.com and purchasing something and making the billionaires richer and the millionaires richer and you poor. That's all it's about. So what we must do is talk about what we can do to make this situation better. This situation is already horrible. Let's identify it as horrible first and foremost. If we can identify the situation as horrible, that'll put us in such a much better situation right there. If we can say, hey, this is horrible, and then we go, yeah, it is, then we'll move forward. Because you have $100 and everybody else in your family has a dime, does not make you higher than them, better than them. It just shows that you might be selfish, because there's no way in the world your great-grandparents or your grandparents would have sat around with a boatload of money and everybody around them struggling, trying to attempt to be a king. What you're doing is making white supremacy comfortable because I worked hard. No, what you did do is take advantage of opportunity. Maybe you were reared differently. Maybe you were brought, maybe the opportunity and you seizing the opportunity that was in front of you was easier for you, but you're not better than anybody because everybody can do something. And you just happen to run head on into the opportunity that you had. But you should be making opportunities for people. Because if you want to be a king, what you are is a white nationalist. Because that's what it's about. We're not about community. The oldest game in the world is played with pods. It's 9 pods. I mean, it's 8 on each side. And whoever has the most pods at the end of the game wins. But the key to that game is everybody on the table must have a pod. All 16 people must have at least one. So if you are the richest guy at the table, you must make sure everybody else is going to be able to eat as well. That's the key. That's an African game. That is the original people on the planet game. That is the oldest game in the world, which lets you know that the people who invented that game had community in mind, not what we're dealing with at the moment. We're dealing with a joke. We're dealing with rugged individualism. We're dealing with me. I'm better. I did. And that's the problem. We don't know how to communicate with each other. Lack of information is the reason our community is slowly being deteriorated and we're being separated and segregated. Because you think that if you're sitting on the top of the hill in the valley, it's better. You would rather sit on the top of the hill at the mountaintop. But the mountaintop may not be the place for you. See, people like MLK, people like X, people like Stokely Carmichael, people like Fred Hampton, they could have just taken their education and went on and been successful and just didn't worry about anybody. What they did was think community. It was innate. It was a part of their DNA. They had to pass on the information. This is how you build a community. You must have strong infrastructure. You must have a strong foundation. In order to have a strong foundation, everybody must have the same opportunities or be afforded the same opportunities. Some people will take advantage, others won't. But if you're not one of those people that's going to allow other people to take advantage, you have bought into the system that is oppressing you every day. You are a Sambo. No, no soft punches for the rest of the time I'm doing this. You are a Sambo. You are a Gumbo. Two of the men who beat Uncle Tom to death because Uncle Tom said, I will stay on this plantation and help people escape versus run and leave everybody behind. Everybody has a mission in this life. And that's what we need to understand. Some of us will be successful and we need to reach back and pull up. There's this thing. You must light the torch. No, you must pass the torch. Excuse me. No, you must light the torch. Because if I have a torch and I pass it to you, now I'm in darkness. Now, if I show you how to make a torch and I light it, and then you show someone else how to make a torch and they light it, the entire room is illuminated. And that's where we need to be. But we don't have the information on illumination because we're fighting things like DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. We fight things like affirmative action, the opportunity to obtain employment on their terms. Critical race theory, the ability to cognitively look into what's going on in this country and identify what the problems are, where the problems stem from, and how we can resolve them. That's what critical race theory is all about. It's not about making anybody feel bad. And if you feel bad about me knowing the truth about what happened to me in my community, then you're part of the problem. Never explaining to anybody why you move the way you move. If you have a significant other and you love to hold that person's hand and that person enjoys you holding their hand, do you explain why you guys are holding hands? No. You just enjoy in that other person's company. If you like being around your family, do you explain why you like being around your family? No, you just enjoy your family. So why would we explain why we need to know why our community has been subjugated and disrespected? We don't need to. Do you explain why you're part of a specific sect or religion? Do you explain why you're with your partner, no matter which direction you go in? No, because that's your situation. And as long as you're comfortable, everybody else should be. But we don't have a world that thinks that way. We have a world that wants you to conform. So information is key. Information, understanding the United States Constitution, understanding the laws of the state of Illinois, understanding the rules of Cook County, understanding who's on the school board, understanding who's on the school on the city council, understanding who's the mayor of the city, who's the business manager of the city, and what funds are allocated, who's the recorder of deeds, who's the sheriff, and things of that nature. So that information is paramount. Understanding that when you have, like, people say the system is against us, damn sure it is. That's without a doubt. And we don't need to discuss that anymore. We understand that we were born behind the 8 ball. As long as we are in between these borders of these 50 states, border to border, coast to coast, we're behind the 8 ball. We will always be under attack, and there will never be any peace in this country unless we obtain the information to create peace. How do you obtain information to create peace? What you have to do is study to show yourself worthy of peace. Study to show yourself worthy is right out of the Bible. Like the same Bible that people criticize. But when I hear people criticize the Bible, that lets me know that they've never read it, they've never invested in it, they've never listened to people talk about it so they can get the information for themselves. Because if you listen to it, you don't even have to have any spiritual connection to it whatsoever. The allegories in the Holy Bible will get you through life in itself. It will teach you to respect yourself. It will teach you to respect others. So it will teach you to respect nature. It will teach you to assist people. It will teach you to respect your children, respect your wife. Get this. It even tells parents, don't provoke your child to wrath. It teaches you everything you need to know, but people look at it as some type of hocus pocus and nonsense, and then they get thrown off. So you must study to show yourself worthy of peace. Why do you need to study? Because you need to look at what has already happened, what is happening, which led to what is happening, and which lets you know what's going to happen in the future. But if you're not willing to do that study, then you will put yourself in what we call in the urban areas a trick bag. What is a trick bag? You'll be in a horrible situation. You will consistently perpetuate foolishness, nonsense, and madness. You'll gauge your success in accordance to what someone who doesn't like you deems successful. Are you in a successful relationship? Does that person care for you? Do you care for them? Are you in a comfortable home? Do you drive a nice car? Are you striving to get better? Yeah. Well, what someone else thinks is impossible. It's irrelevant. Excuse me. It's impossible for someone to tell you what your happiness is. But here in the United States of America, especially from my purview in Black America, we pay too much attention to what everybody else is doing. Allow people to get their expensive vehicles, allow people to get their expensive clothes, allow people to get expensive shoes and inexpensive anything you want. But if you're comfortable where you are and you have joy and your life will be enhanced by the things that you continue to do, that is success. Other people may deem success by expensive things. Other people might deem success by opulence, academic success, or what have you. But that does not mean that's successful for you. I'm not telling you not to strive. What we have to do is set a baseline. The baseline is the most you can ever do is the best you can. You can never allow someone to slack ever again going forward. If you are not good at math, make sure you are a D student. Make sure you get up to C+. If the highest you get is C+, then damn it, that's your ceiling. But you should never get a C. And you should be striving to get a B or B minus. But if the best you know as of this moment, you can do a C+, you should never get anything. If a C+ is 78, you should never get a 77. And that's the information we need in this community. We need that kind of information. The next rule is sharing information. If somebody gets in front of you, again, this is where you're happy. If that may not be where you're comfortable. That's where you're happy. And if they're in front of you, then you need to work harder to equal them. And that person needs to be pulling you along and to ensure that you have some modicum of success as well. Success isn't success alone. No one becomes successful alone. So instead of pointing out what is wrong, what could go wrong, and what's not going to happen, start saying what we need to do is, in order to get here, this is what needs to be done. I'm going to need you to. See, if you speak, again, back to that Bible, if you speak things into existence, if you speak things as if they're already happening, they will happen. If you speak negativity in your life, you'll bring negativity. If you are afraid that something is going to happen, that something negative is on the way, that negative thing, you're really slowing yourself down so the negativity can catch up to you. But if you speak success, you're running toward success. Therefore, that success is running toward you and you're on a crash course with it. The information of success, the information of academia, the information of civic duty, the information of, for example, one of the things that burden a lot of young men in my community is child support and felonious activities. In the event that you make the mistake of fracturing a law or breaking the rules, and you have a situation where you stand in front of a magistrate and he tags you with a felony, in the state of Illinois, you can still vote once that whole thing is over. Well, how about this? Felonious brothers and sisters throughout these United States of America, here's a little information. If you all do what you're supposed to do, and then you come back to society and engage and register people to vote, and guess what? You can ask them to lift that tariff, so to speak, off your name, that red flag off your name. Once I get out of the penitentiary, once I pay my penance, I shouldn't die a felon. I shouldn't make a mistake in my life or make a choice that could be detrimental to my future at age 19, 20, 25, or 30. That should be still over my head when I'm 60 or 70 years old. Don't tell me that a young person's brain isn't fully developed until you're 25 and you make a mistake at 19. That mistake should follow you for the rest of your life. No. Are there exceptions to every rule? Indeed, there are. But stop looking for the exception and start looking at the masses. We're not talking about the individual, we're talking about the group. So that's one source of information. Child support is something else that burdens a lot of men in this country. A lot of people have started to weaponize the system because the system is in favor of the child, allegedly. I was raised on child support. My mother ran the Department of Child Support here in Illinois, so I understand the concept. But the concept behind it is this. You will take care of your child because the state doesn't want to. And the state may be overzealous with their apprehension of child support. But what we need to do is start. If you want it to go away, you engage, you get involved, you work with the political system and push those people that you support and have them change the rules. This is how you work to a better Black community. The things that are burdening us. How about this? If you are on the west side of Chicago and you got Manley High School, you got you have Marshall High School, you have other high schools throughout the United States, throughout the west side, Austin High School, that are predominantly Black. If you are predominantly Black, why don't you start engaging with those institutions? Why don't you, the people there, if it's 10 of you with children at one of those high schools, why don't you start coming on Facebook and asking for fundraising information, getting fundraisers together so we can get a above standard education. We don't want standard education. We want above standard. So if they don't have a computer lab, find out how much it will cost to get a computer lab in the school, find how much it will cost to add a teacher to that school, and find out what we can do as a community to, let's say it's going to cost us $50,000. It's more than 10,000 people on the west side of Chicago. We could donate money to that institution, and then it will have the funds for an additional instructor to come to that school, and we can pay for it to ensure those young people getting that. At Lincoln Park High School, there's a band. Make sure every school has the opportunity for art and music and science and technology and law, because we're building towards the future. You know my mantra here. We are working so our great-grandchildren's grandchildren will be successful. Stop sitting around complaining what they ain't gonna do, because we can do it. We can do it. Just like you want your child, we will push and shove and drag a young person. Yeah, you 6'5", and we gonna put a basketball in his hand, and we'll do trips, and we gonna do everything, travel baseball, and everybody's gonna be engaged. Well, let's engage that same way and make sure all of our children. Guess what? If you're 5'5", if you're 5'7", the chances of you making an NBA, you got a better chance of winning that $900 million tomorrow with the Mega Millions. You have a greater chance of doing that than making it to the NBA. First of all, you got a greater chance of hitting the Mega Million than hitting a lot of them getting to the NBA anyway. You got 490 jobs, and you got people worldwide vying for them. I'm not trying to kill any dreams, but what I want you to understand is this. Another set of information. If you are an athlete, and most young people are on social media. So if you're an athlete and you're on social media, build a following. Now you get NIL money. Have a dream. I want to be in the NBA. But guess what? If I don't make it to the NBA, I want to be a coach. I want to be a trainer. I want to be something in basketball. Because guess what? There's six-figure people making money sitting on the sideline next to the head coach. There are people making six figures doing a lot of things that you can still engage with your favorite activity. You can be a social media icon, and then guess what? When you go to a University of Illinois, when you go to a Duke, when you go to a UCLA, they'll give you money. You can bring that money back to your community and create a grocery store. Now, guess what? The average MBA or professional sports career is 4 years. What are you going to do in the 5th year? You can have things set up in place. You can obtain academic ability, so you're 6'5", guaranteed to go to the pro best friend. You can be his Maverick Carter. You can be his Rich Paul. Why aren't we doing those things? These are the information. This is the information our young people need. You can go to school. You're the most popular kid in the state of Illinois. You want to go to the University of Illinois, but I got a sister and a brother that need guaranteed educations as well. Along with the $1 million, you're going to give me an NIL money. They'll do it. You continue to work towards your academic excellence, and guess what? You will build a fan base. And if they draft you to go to the NBA, you have money in your pocket. You will have two siblings that are in marketing and business management, or you can have a tax person in your camp. You can have a business manager in your camp. They'll learn those things. And guess what? You are your own self-contained entity, and you have something to fall back on. We must share this information. We can no longer allow people, we cannot ask the people who put us in chains, ask the people who allowed the Ku Klux Klan to live and thrive, allow the people who ask the people who allowed the skinheads, allow the people who just asked, who just were winning a race, slowed down and said, we'll compromise to help us. See, that Democrat and Republican thing, that's a farce. And we don't care though, because we need to put ourselves in a position of power, and people with power have money and influence. People with money and influence get their way. That's capitalism. We can think past these things. The system is in place. Now, make sure the system makes you and your children safe. That's all you need. And then have the United States federal government, the Illinois state government, the Cook County government, and the city of Chicago city government work so they can allocate the funds to you and anybody who needs them. That's what you need to do. That's what needs to be done. And once that's done, you will be in the best possible situation. The next thing, enemy of the community. Anybody that's attempting to take away, anybody who's attempting to hurt you physically, mentally, or spiritually, anybody that is a detriment, that's an enemy. See, we need to stop looking for friends. We need to identify enemies. And then once you identify your enemies, use this word, comrade. A comrade is not a friend. They're not a cohort. They're not a part of what you're doing. A comrade is a person who has the same mission as you. You're part of the same party, meaning you're moving in the same direction. You may not have the same, oh, well, I don't like abortion, but I do. I don't like gays. I don't like this. I don't like that. But what you want is, this is our mission. Our mission is to get the funds allocated to our communities evenly. And then when we get the allocation of funds, we can fall back and everybody go to their neutral corners. We're not looking for friends. The enemies are the people who are reducing funds for academia, making teenagers eligible to work for a living. We are 100 years past that. Your grandfather didn't graduate. Your father didn't graduate. Now, I'm part of the first generation, from my perspective, that was expected to go to college, that was expected to move forward, that was expected to elevate. That's what I want you to understand. We need to return to that. We need to return to that. And once you get that, you'll be able to identify your enemies. And those are the people who are stopping you from vocation, stopping you from academia, stopping you from entrepreneurship, stopping you from anything that you want, stopping you from personal choices, medical choices, physical choices, mental choices. Those are your enemies. We're going to get away from this box of crayons that they put us in, this color, that color, these people, those people. Are you diametrically opposed to my success? In the event that you show me any of that, we will move away from you. If you're in political office, we will do everything we can to remove you. We will get people in Mississippi registered to vote because we outnumber everybody in Mississippi. We'll get people in Louisiana registered to vote because we outnumber everybody there. The larger troop of people in the United States of America are from the western border of Texas to the Atlantic Ocean. No higher than the Mason-Dixon line. And the Mason-Dixon line is the bottom of Ohio, the bottom of Illinois, and over through Arkansas and Missouri. So further south than that, there are more Black people in those areas than any place in the world. Just like when our ancestors were enslaved, that's where we stayed. Don't think because New York and Chicago and Philadelphia and Los Angeles and Oakland, it's a lot of Black people there. No, the most Black people are in the South. If we galvanize, look, all of us. I know Illinois is Arkansas, Northeast, Mississippi North, Alabama North. I know that to be true. I don't know one person, not one person who don't have roots in one of those places. Not one person. I know dozens upon dozens of people. So we can start communicating. We can start enhancing each other's lives. We can start re-establishing family because it's somebody in your family who has a connection that can benefit you. It's somebody that you have a connection with that can benefit somebody in your family. And we can rise up and support. Just like Actively Black. They found Black farmers to use their cotton so they can make their clothes. If we want to be successful, all we have to do is identify the enemy, work through the enemy. Now, we're not working around anything. We're walking through them. We will do away with them in regards to being threats to our community. We will no longer adhere to anything that they're bowing down, asking us to bow down to, because actively Black showed us the way. The great Martin King showed us the way. The great Malcolm X showed us the way. The Black Panther Party showed us the way. Jesse Jackson showed us the way. Al Sharpton has shown us the way. Ben Crump has shown us the way. Stop looking at the negative aspects of anyone who has had any monicum of success in the United States of America and look at what they accomplished. Marcus Garvey, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the noble Drew Ali, Medgar Evers, Fannie Lou Hamer. Fannie Lou Hamer went from sharecropping to one of the most well-known Black women in the history of this country. Shirley Chisholm, Coretta Scott King. We have dozens and upon dozens. Carol Moseley Braun, dozens upon dozens of examples of people who come from nothing and they are at the top of their fields. We must identify the people who are trying to erase those, because if you don't know, you won't move forward. And if you don't move forward, you'll be stagnant. If you'll be stagnant, then you will never be able to prepare for your future. We must enhance. See, the key to success is wanting, knowing that it can be done, and then being pushed towards success. We must prepare for the future. This is why I speak on our great-grandchildren's grandchildren every single episode. Our great-grandchildren's grandchildren. And if we start feeding our great-grandchildren's grandchildren, that means you will have fed 3 generations of people, and then it becomes second nature. Just like when I was 18, hey, you got to go register for selective service. You must register to vote. And then once you graduate, you got to register to vote. All of that had to be done by graduation day. And then we stopped saying why. Why do I need to vote? Because the sheriff is the only true law in your town. That's the person that can come take things out of your house and put them on the curb. So if that dude is a racist, anybody can tell any lie that they want. You must be engaged, because if you know that our community is over policed and they're being over policed on a regular basis, you know what? You put the proper judges in place of those people who are graduated from law school and being law clerks and being elevated, who are fair-minded and reasonable, because you can tell by their writing. You put them in those seats. So now, much like the erroneous dude in Oklahoma, who had pled no contest to sexual deviance. No contest, meaning, yeah, I did it. He got downgraded to a child. How many of our young people who were caught with small amounts of controlled substance could have gone along with counseling and then been put in situations where community service would have helped them? Because that trip to the penitentiary scares you in a way that most people are not prepared for. But if you get that second chance, how many people in our community didn't get that second chance, and then recidivism kicked in, and now they are being repeat offenders, and they drag on for 10, 15, maybe even 20 years, and then they wake up. But what if they had that second chance at 17, 18, 19, 25 years old? It's a different community. We must prepare for the future. We must, again, as I stated at the top of the show, we can no longer accept attending school. You must strive at school. You can no longer be caught dead in a zoo with somebody who's not striving. I don't mean success. Everybody may not be adept at mathematics. Maybe you're not the greatest reader in the world, but guess what? I'm a great reader. He's great at math. I suck at school. Y'all are my buddies. Ensure that I do. You don't think that can happen? I dropped out of school, not high school, college before. My buddy Craig and his wife stood on my neck until I completed my degree. Every time I talk to them, hey, how you doing? How your children doing? When you going back to school? When are you going back to school? Hey, are you cool? How's the job? When are you going back to school? That's what we need to get back on. Not, man, forget him. When are you going back to school? Talk to my friend Craig today. We were talking about this and we talked about that. How are your children doing? We must get back to that. Our children's future are paramount. because they will be the leaders of the community before you know it. If you are older than 40 years, if you are older than 40 years old, how long ago does it feel like you graduated from high school? I graduated from high school a lifetime ago. But does it feel like you graduated a lifetime ago, or did it go like this? Like I told my son, one day you're going to wake up and you're going to be 14. Then you're going to wake up when you're going to be 18. Then you're going to be 25. And then you're going to be 32. And that's when God hits the fast forward on your life. And then you're 35. Then you're 38. Then you're 45. And then you're 55. And then you're like, I wish I would have. Don't wish you would have. It's time for us to prepare. We need to, there are plumbers in our community that don't even realize they can be plumbers. They are architects. They are air traffic controllers. They are electricians. They are software developers. There are 1,000,005 things that we could potentially dominate. Roofers, carpenters, contractors. There are 1,000,005 things that we can dominate, but we think going to college is the end all be all. If you read Black Entrepreneurs Magazine, you'll find out that the plumber and electrician are the new millionaires. Without water, the world doesn't work. Without electricity, in a world of technology, the person who controls the electricity is a god. Kind of like the man with the Cyclops in the land of the blind is a king, and he's at a disadvantage. The person who controls the electricity in the world of technology cannot be replaced. The dude who controls the plumbing in a world where people are contaminating water, and plumbing is paramount, just to go to the bathroom, just to take a shower, just to live and have your temple clean. He is king, but we're not guiding our kids that way. If you can fix an electric car, if you can fix a traditional car, if you can fix heating and air conditioning, let's start gearing our kids towards things that'll make them irreplaceable. And when they become irreplaceable, our community is paramount. And then we have people opening up grocery stores. And then we have people open up corner stores. Hey, you can even open up liquor emporiums. All these people like LeBron James and Kevin Hart, these people are creating liquors on their own. Fawn Weaver with Uncle Remus, we can have a liquor emporium that sells exclusively our things. And all of a sudden, you have a universe inside of a country that cannot be stopped. We can no longer think about what has happened unless you are adding that to where you are now, so we can talk about the future. With that being said, I need you to hit like, hit share, tell a friend to tap in, subscribe if you haven't already. Share this, please. I'll see you soon. I am Brian HRap. This is the End of the Bench Media. I want to thank you very much. That's what I was trying to put on the screen. I want to thank you very much for tapping in. Hit that like, hit that share, tell a friend. Watch to the end. It's an important message by an important woman, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. At the end of this, 2 fingers, 1 word. I am.
Stop name calling one another. Stop cursing one another. Stop gossiping about one another. Stop squabbling with one another. Stop being discourteous and disrespectful to one another. Stop fighting one another. Stop killing one another. Stop using and selling drugs to one another. Stop throwing down trash where black people have to live, work, and play. Did I say stop stealing, stop robbing? Now, as I said, the pressure of the white supremacy dynamic that forces black people to think negatively about themselves and set up negative environmental conditions will produce these negative behaviors. You see, but that's just like somebody putting you in check from the other side of the board. So you have to learn the tactics and strategies, the behavioral tactics and strategies, do you see, that will stop that from happening. So you're constantly on the offensive and the defense about preserving or evolving and developing a very positive image and concept of self.